Gluten Tolerant by Clarke. Fuck you, Jack. Merry Christmas. That's what I should have said. Instead, I mutter, see you later then, at home, with a calculated passive-aggressive cutting edge. It'd be wasted on the pissed-up arsehole. We're in Bermondsey, last night before Christmas, last Friday night before Christmas, done the beer mile again, with mates, mostly Jack's. You know the place, a mile-long strip of craft breweries just under the railway arches. If you're too basic to know it, then you'll never work on my PR agency. Jack swears virtually all his social media deals are sealed here over a pint of craft IPA on a Friday afternoon. All free range and fair enough. But the evenings inevitably end with contracts celebrated at someone's new-built flat in Rotherhithe or Limehouse, the boys in a daze of drugs and video games, and their bored girlfriends bonding over competitive stories of sex and shoes. Not this time. We only moved into our studio in Canada Water on Monday. We're renting, naturally. We've only been together since last year's Wilderness Festival, but shacking up in the same bedroom brings that property ladder a little bit closer. I made Jack promise that this afternoon's carousing wouldn't blur into the evening. I mean, I was even going to cook. Well, Waitrose, Christmas eating for two with own brand Prosecco, crab and avocado spheres, pancetta wrapped turkey with gravy, and millionaire's shortbread. Get me? Charlie, babes, once we hit Druid Street Market, I'll make our excuses and we'll shoot. Now we've arrived. Of course, the only person he's making bloody excuses to is me. Mega quick check-in with Josh. Craft Half Tower Bridge, babes, about the Data Lake. Data Lake? I want to drown him in it. So I grab my bag and flounce out the brewery tasting room. I stomp into the market as the stallholders are packing away, crushing empty boxes under their feet in their transit vans. I wait. Half a minute. To see if Jack reacts to my flouncing out and pursues me. He doesn't. The wind's whipped up and the glorious sunset has been extinguished by oppressive grey cloud. It's bloody chilly. A single snowflake spirals downwards, landing and melting on my nose. The 4 pints I've downed with the guys are sloshing around in my stomach and I feel a bit wobbly. I'm hit by an overpowering hunger, triggered by the pervasive aroma of baking bread. I'm in PR, I have an MA in marketing. I know how to seduce people. Pumping out bakery smells to persuade customers to spend is one of the hoariest tricks in the book. But it works, especially on half-pissed women who've only eaten a vegan falafel flatbread all day. And that was 6 starving hours ago. I practically stumble over the source of my temptation. An A-board outside a railway arch unit declares in an most unlovely design, artisan bakery. No branding, just badly handwritten chalk. These people need professional advice. The bakery itself is equally unprepossessing. The outside still resembles the dingy lock-up it probably was about 6 months ago. The boarding is covered in graffiti, but that bread of heaven smell escapes through the double doors. It fills my nostrils and drags me inside. The bakery is Spartan. A trestle table with a plastic gingham tablecloth displays a rather miserable selection of bread, and I'm mortified to discover that only crumbs remain of the seasonal panettone and St. Lucia's buns. I suppose it is past 6 and the market's winding down. I mean, I'm lucky it's open at all. With no prices or product descriptions, it's a binary choice between a chunky traditional cob or a flour-dusted bloomer. I wait. To be served by one of the staff members who's apparently working here. And I wait. He's standing to the side, too wrapped in conversation over a piece of bloody dough to notice me. This chap definitely needs my marketing mojo, but can he afford me? I glare at the guy, clear my throat, tap my Converse on the concrete floor. He's about my age, I imagine. Tall, lean-looking, even when wearing an apron over a Joy Division t-shirt. He has a masculine, angular face, jawline softened with a de rigueur bushy beard. His hair is long and tied back into a ponytail, which I'm not convinced conforms to safety standards. A drift of chilly air blows through the doors. Outside, it's a full-on blizzard, and there's that uncanny dampening of sound that accompanies a heavy snowfall. Oh, shit. I must have left my umbrella up by the numbers up the road. Eventually, Mr. Bakerman glances up from kneading and clocks me. I frown in return, but he smiles in an honest, unapologetic way. Well, I'm immediately disarmed. He washes his hands scrupulously. Short-staffed, not his fault. He approaches the table. I'm kind of hoping when he speaks that it's with a smoky French accent. He remains silent, staring at me expectantly. Is that one the sourdough? I point to a loaf. Wholemeal cob and white sourdough bloomer. He replies in an accent that I can merely place as unspecified northern. I'm rather devastated he didn't give me credit for my loaf identification skills. That one, please. I indicate the sourdough. £5. Fuck, that's steep. Even for a London farmer's market, I think, while murmuring, oh, that's fine, and fumbling somewhat drunkenly with my purse. He wraps the loaf in a paper bag. Contactless here, no way. I hand over virtually all my cash. His blue eyes catch mine as he hands me the loaf. His gaze drops lower and lingers a second. I like it, but turn prudently away towards the door, only to see a riot of white snowflakes. Mind if I stay and nibble it in here while this blows past? I ask. Should only be a few minutes. Sure. He points to a wooden bench in the corner. I settle down and survey the bakery. A stainless steel oven and racks of baking trays fill the rear arch. A staircase at the side leads to an upper level laid out to what looks like a mattress. Oh, I'm so hungry, I can't do anything except sink my teeth into the loaf. Oh, it is sublime. The aromatic crust yields into a chewy, textured, savoury white core. I check my phone. I mean, surely Jack isn't going to leave me to struggle home alone in this. The baker returns with a supple slab of dough. I watch, transfixed, as he manipulates, stretches, pummels. He's completely focused, never once looking in my direction. I stand up and walk closer. Sorry. Do you mind me watching? My attempts at bread making never rise, I say. Never been a problem for me. He grabs the dough, tosses it high in the air, catches it as it tumbles and slams it down onto the preparation table. Hard, very hard. His arms are swathed in tattoo sleeves. I'm intrigued. I want to move nearer, assess the designs. Underneath the tats, the sinews stretch from wrist to elbow, veins bulging from his taut forearms. His fingers pinch and massage the dough. He punches it with a fist. Finally, he tosses it into a huge mixing bowl, which he covers with cling film. Closing time, I'm afraid, he says, crushingly. I'd love it if you could give me a lesson. I'll pay, I say over eagerly. Sure, he replies, washing his hands. I'm ready with my iPhone to book the date. Still no notifications from Jack. But he goes outside, brings in the snow-speckled blackboard, and bolts the door closed. Sorry, but I am still in here. Didn't you want a lesson? You'll do it now, I ask, gobsmacked. Weekend afternoons openings only for show, for the Soak the Bay Brigade. The best bread's made in the early hours. Sets the rhythm of life, doesn't it? I'm not going anywhere, he says. I guess it's only 7, I say. I keep up there for a few hours on a Friday. Tonight, I was going to prep a batch of festive stollen before I put my head down. Probably better for me to wait until the snow settled, I say. Funnily enough, I don't eat much bread. My boyfriend said he's gluten intolerant, but I think that's just more of his bollocks. He raises his eyebrows while bringing me an apron and a selection of organic flour. You seem to like someone, and you seem to value to be somebody that puts something she puts in her body. I'm always looking out for the genuine and natural. It's simpler and purer. Flour, salt, water, yeast. If your ingredients are top quality, the passion flows through your fingertips, and that's all you need. Although, I'd be bankrupt if I didn't chuck in a couple of handfuls of sun-blushed tomatoes and Alfonso fucking olives for the Waitrose wankers. He rolls out a long, firm baton of marzipan to go inside the stollen, he explains. With him adding water, I stir up a hunk of dough. I massage the ball with my fingers, squeezing and folding, but I'm not achieving that essential elasticity. The viscous dough's sticking to my fingers. More flour? I ask. No. Your techniques needs more practice. Want me to show you? I nod. He stands behind me, reaching around me, placing his large hands over mine. This is how you need. You have to sense the give and the spring in the dough. His bearded chin brushes my shoulder. His fingers gently leading mine. Is this okay? Carry on. I push my back against him. We knead together. His hands are strong and sensitive, prompting and leading every touch, every action, every breath a response to mine. Intoxicated, I become heady with the experience, striking out on my own, pummeling, slapping and stretching until he orders me to stop. The oven don't come on until 4 in the morning. You could shape it now. Take it with you to Rise and cook at home, or you could pop back tomorrow and I'll bake it for you. How do you want it? Rolled out into a ball for a cob, or extended out long for a baguette? There's a message on my phone. Brought the boys back to our new place for a blast of Black Ops 4. Wanker. I'd like the full experience, I reply. My oven's puny, anyhow. You said you sleep over. I'm really not in a rush to go anywhere. It'll take an hour or 2 to let it properly prove, he says. Isn't quality bread best tasted straight out of the oven? I say. Later, looking down from upstairs, I see how my dough has risen and swollen, as if it's alive, as if he's putting that rhythm of life into it, just like he's putting the rhythm of life into me. I wake to the smell of baking bread and the sun piercing through a small window in the frontage. Diesel engines idle and snow shovels scrape the tarmac as the market set up outside. I find him downstairs, stripped to the waist, sweat glistening among the loaf tins and baking trays. My loaves emerge, scalding hot from the oven. His asbestos fingers pop them into brown paper bags. I clutch the bread to my chest, radiantly warm. Anything I can do to help? I ask. He doesn't answer, too busy turning out loaves from tins onto the cooling racks. I'll put up the blackboard outside on my way out, I suggest. Perfect. He smiles broadly. Back at the flat, Jack is comatose, spread-eagled on the sofa in front of the Xbox. Beer cans, rolled notes, and a pack of Rizzlers lie by his side, and 2 passed-out mates. I sit in the kitchen and devour every crumb of those divine loaves. Then I open the fridge, remove the crab and avocado spheres, pancetta wrapped turkey with gravy and millionaire shortbread, and empty the lot over Jack's head. Merry fucking Christmas, babe. Slamming the door behind me, I dash to the Jubilee line. There is a baker in Bermondsey who needs his blackboard chalking.